position today, as was the position of the people of Hadhrat Shaykh. We believe that we have believed in Imam Mahdi, who was declared to be Hakam Adl by the founder of Islam, Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He has led us on the authority of revelation which he received from Allah. Allah told him that these verses should be interpreted like this, that Jesus Christ is no longer alive, that he is dead, and so on and so forth. So in every respect where he differed with you, or who he made us differ with you, the reason was that if he was guided by Allah, this is why he was called Al-Mahdi. So the moment we return to you, we will also be admitting that we were conscious forgers, while we are not that, because conscious forgers never suffer at the hand of people in vain, unnecessarily. This is the implied argument we should be further elaborating, and this is a very interesting argument. This, I said, Hazrat Shaykh was a fine debater. In this respect, a lot of wisdom. The fact is that those who make a forgery consciously always make this such a forgery to gain certain ends, draw certain benefits. If a man claims to be the proprietor of a lost property, and he is not the proprietor, there is every reason why he should claim that. Because if his claim is accepted, then he will receive some property in return for that. But if it is said that if you claim to be that person, we will beat you and we will destroy you and we will punish you as no one else has ever been punished, and on the top of that punishment we will insult you, will a false claimant come forward and make that claim? That's the argument inherent in this. He said the moment we said Allah is speaking to us, Allah is guiding us, we became vulnerable to your wrath and to your hostility. So this claim in nature is such that it is never treated with favors, but is always treated with extreme disfavors and punishment of all sorts. So how could we be that stupid to make a claim that Allah has guided us and receive at your hand what we are receiving, and yet we be false? And after everything, after being beaten up, after being deprived of our houses, after being burnt alive in some cases, and made orphans and widows and all that, now we repent ultimately and say, all right, we will rise. That brings to mind a story, a very interesting joke, but it applies to such a situation. If Hazrat Shaykh people had admitted after being beaten up that they were false after all and returned to the original people, then their case would be similar to this which I am going to tell you. It is said that someone who I think I have told you this story once before, but this is an interesting story, I should repeat it here. Because there are so many stories repeated in the Holy Quran vis-a-vis these people. So a fitting story can be repeated on the authority of the Holy Quran. Somebody owed, someone, what's it called, Malia? What's the English of Malia? Revenue. Land revenue, yes. There were two revenue, water revenue level. It is a joke about somebody who owed water revenue to the authorities, and the water revenue amounted to exactly 100 rupees. So he decided to take 99 rupees instead and save 1 rupee. In those days it was a British rule, and they were very strict in imposing this land revenue and receiving every penny out of people. So he went there and excused himself and said, look here, I am a poor man, you owe me know with how much difficulty I raised this sum. But I could only raise 99 rupees. So I hope you will forgive me and leave that 1 rupee out. Ignore that 1 rupee. The officer was well trained by the then British Imperialist government. So he said, all right, I will do that only on the condition that you are beaten, lashed with a shoe 100 times. If you accept that, then I will forgive you 1 rupee, otherwise not. He said, look here, I am a respectable man, of course. I am a human being. How can you treat me so insultingly, to lash me, and that also will choose? This is ultimate degradation. I won't accept it. So what I propose instead is that I'll eat 100 onions instead. This is of course very difficult, you know. Eat one onion, not the British onion. It doesn't have that sting, you know. Onions in our country, the small ones, are very, very horrid to eat. Very obnoxious. So he said, okay, I accept that. So he started eating onions. Although he was quite an expert at that, but within a matter of few, let's say 10 onions, he lost patience and gave in ultimately. He said, look here, after all I am a human being, you know. Onions are a very difficult thing to eat. So I accept your offer, okay. The first original suggestion. So you beat me with lashes instead of forcing me to eat onions. So when they beat him with 10 lashes with shoes, he said, look, let's stop. After all, I am a human being and a respectable person. So let's start eating onions again. So one after the other, he was beaten by lashes, and then alternately he started eating onions. Until he finished 100 onions, and it was the 100th lash, it was going to be, to be meted out to him. Then, by this jostling along, his turban was unfolded. And from one of the folds of the turban, 1 rupee fell. In case of extreme situation, he had saved that 1 rupee, folded in the turban. So he took that 1 rupee in his hand and said, look here, this is how Allah saves one's respect. This is the 1 rupee for which you are doing all this to me. So take your rupee and leave him. This is the argument which is being put forward behind the chair. He says, you are taking an attitude towards us. You want us to believe that we were conscious forgers, and we were telling lies against Allah. And now, after beating us, after killing us, after dragging us in streets, after hurling all abuses against us, you think that we will accept the other position of lashes, revert to the worst position, by admitting that we were conscious forces against Allah. So these were the two evils between which the people of Saad were caught. The choice to offer to them was this: either we will continue beating you and destroying you, or you destroy yourselves by admitting that you were conscious forces against Allah. Through inquisition, through persecution sometimes, they take confessions out. And if you do not confess, you are beaten. If you confess, then you are punished. So this is the position which is being explained by Hadhrat Shahab so beautifully, that you are leaving us no sensible choice at all. It's impossible for us to adopt any course. Because if we stick to our position, then we will be standing on the wrong side of yours. If we revert to the other position, then we will be on the wrong side of Allah, which will be much worse. So we better not be on the wrong side of Allah.